So let's talk a little bit about Sharing Place.
All right.
And I understand it's been here for years, and your involvement goes way back.
The Sharing Place Food Bank, in fact, launched in 1988, and that was a time when food banks were having to spring up across the province, across the country. Certainly Orillia was far from being unique in the respect that a lot of people found themselves with having to pay too much for rent, for housing, and being left with too little money for food. So we got started in 1988. The fact of the matter is I've been associated with the food bank now for roughly 5 years. We keep saying, and we mean it, that we'd be just as happy if the Sharing Place Food Bank could close up. You know, who on earth would want there to have to be food banks in a prosperous community like this? That's at least on the surface. When you dig a little bit deeper, of course, you discover that Orillia, like many communities in Ontario, has essentially two levels of living, and one of them is comfortable and the other is definitely not. And so that people who are having to get by on some kind of government handout, which might amount to no more than $700 a month, and are being required with that money to provide themselves with a roof over their head and food and whatever other necessities of life. I mean, there are a lot of people out there who are having to exist in this community and in fact throughout the country with on less than adequate income.
And is the main source of income come from within this community? Like what supports sharing?
Orillia is a very, very generous community. No question about it that at various times of the year we count on the community to step forward and lend a hand. There are a number of those, but they include, we have a couple of major fundraisers. And they are the Mac and Cheese Luncheon, which happens in the spring. There is the Ashiko Drumming Away Hunger Festival, which is going to be celebrating its third iteration in September.
You could give me the history of Ashiko Drumming Away Hunger Festival and why.
Certainly. This is the third annual Ashiko Drumming Away Hunger Festival, and as the name suggests, it's a festival that is supporting doing away with hunger in the community of Orillia and area. Now, it's called Ashiko because an Ashiko is a type of drum, a hand drum, that is popular in many parts of Africa and in the Americas. So it winds up being called Ashiko after the drum, and drumming away hunger because much of the musical entertainment is going to be based on different kinds of drumming. Some from Africa, some from Polynesia, some from parts of Canada. It's going to be an exciting event.
Is that an Ashiko in your hand?
No, this is not an Ashiko. This, as a matter of fact, is a coffee pot. But we've been saving these big coffee pots for the kids who will be appearing at the festival and who will, of course, want to drum along with the grown-ups. So here we are.
Why don't you tell me about the highlights from this year's Ashiko Drumming Away
Okay,
Hunger?
well, certainly there are a number of highlights. I would say that first and foremost, Njacko Backo, who is king of African drummers, and his band Kalimba Kalimba, they are the stars of the day. But there are other stars, and they include everybody who comes to the festival. You know why? I'll tell you why. Because there will be 3 giant drum circles. Everybody who wants to, you don't have to, but everybody who wants to is invited to join a drum circle. And one of our sponsors, Shaw Drums, is providing the hand drums. So you don't have to bring a drum. You can borrow one and just have a wonderful time wailing away along with goodness knows how many dozens of other people of all ages thumping away on drums. And I tell you, it is really a party.
Excellent. And